Let's continue on our discussion around this market volatility, and we'll bring in Alex Douglas from Monex Securities, who joins me live here in the studio, and I guess taking on a bit more of a local focus as well. Alex, good to have you on this morning.
Thanks, Leanne.
And we were just talking there with Ilya, of course, about the ongoing uncertainty and the market volatility that we're seeing.
Yes.
How are you kind of sort of getting through the storm, all of this volatility? I know that we've spoken before about sort of positioning defensively. Is that still your main focus?
I think it is for the time being, with all this uncertainty around Brexit and US, China, and then President Trump's latest issues. I think defensive is the way to go. Looking at defensive stocks, utilities is often seen as a good place to invest defensively. But if you look at the Australian market recently, it hasn't been so good on the utilities. We've had a number of reasons for that. You've got the Australian Energy Regulator coming out saying that policy stability is a problem. Although it's a slightly different area, but petroleum-wise, Fraser Institute have come out saying that that they've lumped some of Australia's states in with the 10 worst places to invest in that market.
Yep.
So looking at utilities, the utilities sector in the US has actually done very well.
Right. So looking at the utility sector in the US, not here in Australia.
Yes.
And do you think that will continue, that it kind of outperforms our own utility stocks here?
I think it will for the time being, yes. Yeah.
Right.
So, during the setback that we had in October, when global markets were down 10-11%, the utilities sector in the US only dropped about 5%.
Right.
And then carried on again.
So a view that it can kind of get through all of this trade uncertainty as well, isn't it? Because that seems to be still the dominant factor for markets right now.
And look, utilities it's a boring place to invest. Not much happens. It's electricity and power and not very exciting stuff, and the returns are fairly low, but it's consistent.
Sure. Are there particular names that you can point out that you're interested in?
Quite a few of the big American electricity producers are just churning along. So AEP, American Electric Power, is a good one. Duke Energy is another one. So there are really, there are probably 20 or 30 of them that you could select.
Sure.
It's just nice, consistent gains.
Yeah. What else in particular as we head into 2019 are you expecting to see? I mean, I'm sure a lot of this defensive positioning will continue into the early part of it. What are some of the big themes and the factors that you'll be watching though?
Yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see if this, the pullback that we've had turns into something worse. If not, it might be a good time to start looking at, looking for value in some of the tech stocks that have come down. So things like Facebook and some of the artificial intelligence and electric car makers. I think some of those areas could be very interesting.
How do you think the Aussie share market is valued at the moment, relative to our US counterparts? I know through the month of December it seems like we've actually outperformed, but perhaps a lot of that is almost playing catch up because we've been underperforming up until this point. From a valuation perspective, though, are we looking cheap or?
It's probably not a bad time to invest, but we certainly have, as you say, we've underperformed for quite some time.
Yeah. All right, excellent. Alex, thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate your time this morning.
Thanks, Leanne.
As Alex Douglas joining us there from Monex Securities.